All right. Check one, check one. Check 1 2, check 1 2. Alrighty. Hello, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to another episode of the AfroMattt Show. This is episode number 159. And we have a absolutely slam-packed, spicy meatball of an episode. We've got sex crimes. We have possible terrorist attacks. We have literal terrorist attacks. We have conspiracies. We have solid TikToks. Maybe the last TikToks if they ban it. Who knows? But without further ado, let's just get right into the news. I did finish one. I did finish a book, but honestly, it's not even worth reviewing. It's Fanatical Prospecting. I had to read this for work. You know what? Actually, I did. There is one part that I thought was really funny. These types of books written by salespeople are the only books I've ever seen that have, look at this, free membership at fanaticalprospecting.com. As a bonus for purchasing this book, you've earned free professional level membership access to Fanatical Prospecting, a $599. I've never got a pop-up ad within a book. Use the following special code to claim your bonus. I've literally never gotten a pop-up ad in a book. This is literally on a page. Also, this is the only book I've seen which the author quotes himself, which was, weird. Weird. He says, the most expensive thing you can do in sales is spend your time with the wrong prospect. Quote, Jeb Blount. And the book is written by Jeb Blount. Dude, why are you quoting yourself? Like, salespeople are the most self-absorbed people on the planet. Literally on the planet. But, yeah, I had to read it for work. I wouldn't read it for any other reason. Literally any reason. It was, he talks about all these situations where he's like, so Susie hired our company, which his company is called Sales Gravy, which might be the worst name for a company I've ever heard. But he's like, yeah, this lady, let's call her Alice, called me. Her sales team were doing bad numbers. They called me. I showed up. I told everyone what to do, and the problem was fixed. And that's how every single story in this book is him coming in like a guardian angel, flying down and saving the day for some business. And then he advertises the business at the end of the chapter in a nice pop-up ad. If you're thinking about buying, like, this is like not a self-help book. If you're thinking about buying a book for, sales, just read Atomic Habits, because that's literally the only good one for like business, self-improvement type stuff. That and maybe The Subtle Art of Not Giving a Fuck, but I haven't read that one. So I've heard that it's good, though. That being said, let's get into the news. Christ, I'm so sad I had to read that book, actually. I'm so sad. I'm just disappointed. Who quotes themselves in their own book? The whole book is a quote, by the way. If you're writing it, it is a quote. It's crazy. It's crazy. It's crazy. So, it's called an epigraph. The little, at the beginning of a chapter, when you put a little blurb at the top, it's called an epigraph. And the epigraph is literally a quote. It's italicized, and it's a quote by himself. It's crazy. It's crazy. It's absurd. It really is absurd. That's what you do in like a parody. Like, that's what you like if he's parodying those types of books. Like, I would put a quote of myself, yo man, if you want to be the best salesman, you've got to wake up at 4 a.m. and whatever. But you just quoting yourself is crazy. Okay, let's start with the news. We're going to start with the biggest news. Sean Big Diddy, what is it? P Diddy? P Diddy Combs his house was searched today by federal officials.
The multiple homes of Sean Diddy Combs from coast to coast raided by federal Homeland Security investigations agents. Heavily armed and armored tactical teams sweeping through Combs' posh Los Angeles property this afternoon, guns drawn, clearing room to room, people in handcuffs as agents made their way through the property. A similar scene playing out in Diddy's homes more than 2,000 miles away on Miami's Star Island, where several celebrities, including Gloria and Emilio Estefan and Jennifer Lopez, also have homes.
Also, these homes don't look that good.
The fact that Diddy's home was raided...
These homes don't look that good, actually. Like this one. Oh, wait, this might be under construction. Yeah, this one looks just trashy. Copy paste, sunroof. This one's interesting with the cathedral wall or the cathedral ceilings, but I mean,
Lopez also have homes.
No taste.
The fact that Diddy's home was raided means that agents for Homeland Security were able to show probable cause that a crime was committed and that evidence of that alleged.
So what crime? Also, this many agents is crazy. This is like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 20. What would you need this many? This is an army. Like this is a huge amount of agents. They're all just standing around. It literally looks like an agent convention. Los Angeles. Okay, so what did Sean Diddy Combs do? Apparently a lot. I guess he was like the Black Jeffrey Epstein, which, guys, I mean, might be true. I don't know. So Sean Diddy Combs is subject to federal investigation amid a wave of lawsuits that have been filed against the rap music mogul since November. You never want a wave of lawsuits. It's not good. 3 women and a man, oh no, have been interviewed by federal officials in Manhattan in relation to allegations of sex trafficking, sexual assault, and solicitation and distribution of illegal narcotics and firearms. Interviews with 3 of the subjects are also scheduled, the source said. 4 law enforcement sources, blah, 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 blah. So, yeah. What was P. Diddy doing? So people are saying he's the P. Diddler now. P. Diddy. P. Diddler. Yeah, so he was... Since then, 3 women came forward with lawsuits. New York said they were sexually assaulted by Combs. 2 of the women said that they were teenagers at the time. Oh, man. Douglas Widgore, who represents Ventura and the Jane Doe who filed suit, said in a statement, searches the investigation will hold Mr. Combs accountable for his depraved conduct. Yeah, so, I mean, also, what is it with I drive by a lot and I see that a lot of girls, maybe 5 or 6 girls outside, sometimes leaving, sometimes not, sometimes going in, adding he also saw black Chevy Suburbans SUVs there. I never thought anything of it, said Middleton. I guess this is his neighbor. Yeah, oh, yeah. So Middleton, who lives in the area, still regularly visits. Also, this guy's 20 years old. Visits a nearby friend. Told reporters he would see parties at the home and women inside. Other homes had parties too, but some of the people there had women outside till 6 a.m., which was not unusual. Never thought anything of it, he said. Who said he did not know Combs lived there until Monday's news coverage, but now it's crazy. Combs has had Combs pleaded guilty to assaulting a record executive, which I think was a male, if I remember correctly. Not that it's any worse or better, but it just feels like more of a... I don't even know why that feels somehow... I don't even... It feels different. It does feel different. That same year... Also, wait, dude, this has been like the month of sexual assault allegations. That documentary came out from Nickelodeon called... what is it called? Spotlight or Quiet. It's called Quiet on Set. And that whole documentary like busted Nickelodeon wide open. Nickelodeon got slimed on so apparently So I haven't watched the whole documentary. It's like a 3-part documentary. It's like 4 guys. I don't have 4 hours to dedicate to watching people talk about sexual assault. Guys, I do not. That's honestly, that's girl stuff. They're into that. They're into like those true crime podcasts where people are getting their spines ripped out, fatality, and they're talking to someone who's had all their limbs cut off and they're now just a potato. Those are the type of podcasts that girls listen to on cozy car rides. And if you ever see a girl listening to a podcast in a coffee shop while she's typing or working, she's listening to the most horrific shit that if you put those headphones on, it flips your stomach. You feel, and then you kind of feel green and you feel seasick and you're like, why are you listening to this? Yeah, you turn on, literally, let's turn on one of those podcasts, a true crime podcast. They're some of the most horrific shit. Here we go. This has 26 million views. This is by Bailey Sarian, and she's applying makeup, and the title is Makeup and Mystery Inside the Mind of Jeffrey Dahmer.
On his own. He disposed it again in the trash. He kept the skull. And
Great.
According to Jeff, he found this victim, quote, exceptionally attractive, end quote, and was the first victim he
So she's just applying her makeup.
Kept any body parts of. He preserved the victim's head and lower
So yeah, I mean, this is crazy.
And he put it
So, dude, this is crazy. She's applying makeup like it's just a regular Tuesday and just talking about Jeffrey Dahmer collecting body parts. So, I mean, so that's what it's the kind of stuff you'd like to see. So yeah, P. Diddy, what is P. Diddy doing? P. Diddy is depraved, apparently. Serious illegal activities. Rodney Little Rod Jones was allegedly that he had a video and audio evidence of Combs' staff engaging in illegal acts. Jones' attorney. So, I mean, this guy is... So what was he doing? What was P. Diddy doing? Let's find this out. All right, well, I found this. This is straight from the news. This is a screenshot. It says, this is a screenshot of the news posted by 50 Cent. It says, Mr. Combs has hidden cameras in every room of his home, has recordings of several celebrities, artists, music labels, executives, and athletes engaging in illegal activities. These individuals were recorded without their knowledge and consent. Mr. Combs possesses... So he is the Jeffrey Epstein, the black Jeffrey Epstein. He was collecting this knowledge probably to further his career and others through blackmail and extortion probably. So real piece of shit dude, and this is probably just the beginning of it. There's probably so much more sort of people involved with this that we won't really even... Dude, look at this video of LeBron James. This is LeBron James saying, yo, ain't no party like a P. Diddy party. I gotta find it. It's on my phone. All right, here it is. This is LeBron James.
No, ain't no party like a Diddy party, so. Yeah, that's what's up.
That's P. Diddy. He's on FaceTime with P. Diddy. LeBron James.
Everybody know ain't no party like a Diddy party, so.
LeBron James. Ain't no party like a Diddy party. Hey, the LeBron James, that's not something you want to say out loud. So, yeah, P. Diddy is probably going to jail for a long time. Also, what is it with the instant people get famous and rich, they just start diddling kids and, like, sex trafficking? Why? Here's my theory, and this is just guys, this is a game theory, but that's just a theory, a sex trafficking theory. No, this is my theory as why. So in order to become successful in your career, for instance, to become a top level rapper, P. Diddy, a 0.001% rapper, one of the richest rappers alive, extremely successful, in order to become that successful, your threshold for what you think is appropriate to do and not to do to someone, and how much you use and don't use someone, has to be taken down by so many notches with every step higher you climb, that at the end of that process, you're sex trafficking, and you're like, well, guys, look, I'm just stacking my bread. I'm making millies, bro. You know, you're it's just over the course of that long of a time, your morals have been chipped away, like over a long period. I don't know. That's just my theory. That's a game theory. All right, let's go into, let's see, Baltimore Bridge. The Baltimore Bridge collapsed. I mean, this was pretty crazy. I saw that. I woke up. What is this? 2 days ago. Yesterday morning, and I saw the first thing I wake up to, guys. This is the first thing I wake up to when I wake up in the morning. I wake up to this is like a freight liner carrying like just shipping containers and stuff, crashing into a support column on the Baltimore Bridge, collapsing the entire bridge. So this is what a lot of Americans would get to wake up to. It's death and tragedy. That's what you get to wake up to in America, and probably in a lot of places. You get to wake up, and then I scrolled two pages on Twitter, and I saw a live child beheading from an Israel person. No, not, Israel, the one beheading a Palestinian. No, literally, when I saw this, it was like a time-lapse video of the Baltimore Bridge collapsing, and then the next picture was a Israeli like IBF soldier pointing a rifle at a child. This is the kind of fun shit we get to see every day. And people wonder why people are so like messed up and kind of on edge all the time. It's because you're seeing death and tragedy 24/7. A healthy diet of death and tragedy. So I don't know how many people died from here. 8 construction workers when it died. So 8, was one of that's unfortunate. So a few were rescued. This happened at 2 a.m., so thankfully there wasn't a lot of people on the bridge. So the conspiracy theories are that the ship that was traveling was a Chinese ship. I believe it was from Singapore. I don't want to tell you wrong here, but let me see. Give me 1 second. Okay, so it wasn't Singaporean. It was apparently from like a Danish company, but the conspiracy theory that came from this is actually pretty retarded. So apparently someone said, also, when these like this NBC News, they said these so-called keyboard warriors are posting these theories. Okay. On Fox News Business, anchor Maria Barimomo falsely suggested that a wide-open border could have something to do with the collision. So I don't know how that even makes sense. So how would wide-open borders cause a ship to collapse or to... I don't know that part. So the conspiracy theory that I think might fit is that it was a cyber attack, because if you watch the footage, the ship does lose all of its power, and that's something I feel like you could do with the cyber attack if you wanted to, and you knew the course, and you just shut down the power. I mean, you can't just put on a brakes on a giant shipping container. If you just put the power off while it was moving straight towards a column, I mean, you've got yourself a collapse. And if you wanted to really fuck someone up, you take a major bridge down that connects to what is this, Baltimore to, was it New York or some shit? It's like a huge bridge, Francis Scott Key Bridge. For transportation services were weakened. Yeah, so it's a major transportation hub. But there's that. So I don't know. there is that. So thankfully, that's what we get to wake up to. More news. California has some of the best, spiciest news week after week. Revealed a California city is training AI to spot homeless encampments, which is good. This is good news, by the way. We want AI to be so good that it will know when a piece of property has a squatter on it, or if someone's parked outside of an area where it's not HOA appropriate. We want to live in a sort of realm where every single thing we are doing is being documented and tracked and filed in a massive spreadsheet. And I love these little yellow squares that pop up stuff on stuff, and it is apocalyptic. Those yellow squares that just square something in and identifies it. It'll pop up on your face sometimes when you open up your app. You'll have that square pop up, and it'll be like age 25 male, Caucasian, sending it immediately, age, sex, location. So for the past several months, the city at the heart of Silicon Valley has been training artificial intelligence to recognize tents and cars with people living inside in what experts believe is the first experiment of its kind in the United States. Great. It's an experiment, guys. We're doing it for the sake of science. And this is why science is one of the great killers of America, killers of the world, is because science is the pursuit of knowledge, and it's like the pursuit of getting better, and in that way it's good, and it's the pursuit of disproving and trying to prove and building hypotheses and trying to prove hypotheses, and sort of a democratic form of coming to a conclusion. But the end goal of science is for it to take over all aspects of your life. All aspects. Science and technology, all aspects of your life. You won't even know how to what to eat without typing it into ChatGPT 10 years from now. 10 years from now, you might not even know how to, like, there's this guy, they just plugged Neuralink into this dude. You might not even know how to talk in the future. Like, talking might be overrated. You'll just send neural links between each other, because it takes so much energy and brain power to open your mouth and close it and move your tongue and form these consonants and vowels and form sentences in the perfect way to convey a message. That's overrated. That is overrated. And it needs to be replaced by a more streamlined method, and that is sending messages telepathically between Neuralink, to potatoes. Once you're set up, imagine this setup. You have those the new Apple goggles. You have the new Apple goggles, and you've got Neuralink in, and you've got a fleshlight you're constantly edged. You're gooning 24/7. You're dopamine maxing, which means you're never the dopamine cycle. If you get dopamine cycled, this is how slot machines work. They give you like a little hit, and then you're like, well, I'll just make back $10. I'll make back $10. And then you're like, whoa, I'm up $10. Now I've got $10 to spend. And now you go back down, you're getting dopamine cycled. You got dopamine cycled, and you got to accept it. And you got to be on the lookout for dopamine cycles, because it doesn't just happen in casinos and stuff. That's where it's the most profitable, but dopamine cycles happen literally everywhere. Like, if you read, like, even some of the new books that come out by these, like, dog shit authors, they'll dopamine cycle you. They'll hit you with a character, a big character, a revelation of a big character that means nothing for the story, just to get you dopamine cycled. You got to be on the lookout for it. They'll get you. I'm constantly being dopamine cycled. TikTok is all one big dopamine cycle. I guarantee you it's part of their algorithm to give you some shitty ones, and then you find a good one. And then they're like, well, I know he'll like this one, but we'll give him 10 down. That's it. It's to get you dopamine cycled. But I mean, what was I talking about? Constantly edging and gooning? Yeah, you will constantly be edged and gooned because dopamine is the opposite. So in your brain, when you get dopamine, it feels good. But when that dopamine goes away, your brain has to bring you back to homeostasis, which is just level. This is an unaltered consciousness, right? And to do that, it requires a certain amount of pain and kind of like an equal amount of pain as that pleasure. But we associate that pain as bad, but really it's just bringing us to normal. That's when you feel boredom, and that boredom, you're like, I'm going to kill myself if I don't do something right now. I'm going to jump out of this building because I'm so bored. That's literally the amount of pain that you're feeling. I'd rather be dead than be bored. So that's the pain. And, you know, in the future, technology will be so good that you won't ever get that homeostasis. You'll be constantly pleasure. You'll constantly have pleasure. Your dopamine will be so like just pillaged. You will have your dopamine constantly tapped. And I think finding out that part, the worst people on this planet, I think, and the most detrimental are neuroscientists and psychologists. Because both those people working together have hijacked access to your most primitive. They've found a loophole that I don't think was ever meant to be found into controlling you and forcing you to do things and think things that you shouldn't be thinking, or you like, that's not natural, right? You're constantly, they've hijacked everything, every impulse. You know, if you walk outside, you're constantly being sold to. Constantly. Billboards, on the bumper stickers, people's shoes. Why do shoes, if after you buy them, why do they need the logo on them? I mean, seriously, think about this. Why do shoes need their logo on them after you already bought the shoes? Why do they need the logo on them? It's you're wearing advertisement on your feet, right? They are advertised. You have paid for the privilege to advertise for a company. This is like you are a number, and you got to think in major terms, in averages and massive amount of data. If you have 1 million people, that's a huge sample size. And if 10% of those people are wearing Nikes, and they walk around with them, and 10% see them, and then it has a 1% conversion rate, you've just made $10,000 new sales, right? That's the idea here. You're dealing with huge numbers. When you're dealing with huge numbers, it's a different world. It's a different world when you're dealing with big numbers. But I don't even know where I'm going. Just the future is grim. But also fuck psychologists and fuck neurologists, neuroscientists. All those people are unethical. And they take ethics classes, and ethics are just so vague, and it's the fact that you can write a book on ethics seems weird, right? It seems weird. Like, oh yeah, I took an ethics class to become a psychologist. Okay. Was your professor? Who was your professor? Who was his professor? What book did he read? Who wrote the book? Who decides what's ethical? Who decides what's ethical 10 years from now? Did Microsoft pay for that book to be published? All right, let's continue with the news. Oh, Nickelodeon got slimed. Okay, yeah, I probably should have talked about this when we were talking about P. Diddy. Every allegation. Okay, so this is a list of every allegation that's come out of the documentary. Inappropriate jokes. Okay, this doesn't really matter. Inappropriate jokes. Also, so with this a cum shot joke for children, what? Okay, so yeah, a lot of Dave, what is his name? Dave Schneider. A lot of the stuff that he was doing revolved around kids and their feet and like weird sexual puns. And there was a pickle man for some reason who wanted girls to squeeze pickles and also had a man squeeze a pickle. So there's a lot of these weird sexual innuendos. And I saw this one clip from the documentary. She's crying and she's like, it was just so traumatic. He would have you do weird things. Like one time he had me, he called me and said, I'll pay you $300 if you eat a tub of ice cream right now. And so I did. And the next week when he didn't pay me, I joked with him about not paying me and he got mad. And she's like, well, everyone knew he played these kinds of jokes and it was just weird. Like everyone in the documentary, all of the adults, I think, should be held accountable for the things that happen to these children. When you're an adult on a set and they've hired multiple charged sexual... They hired this guy named, what is his name? Something Brian Beck, who was a convicted sexual predator. They hired him, and the adults and the writers on set were just like, yeah, things were just really weird on set. Things were just off. And I didn't want to say anything because I was getting paid and I had a job and I didn't want to lose any of this. And all these people are boomers for now. And you've got to realize, you got to put yourself into the boomer mindset. Also, some were Gen X, which is truly the silent generation. Yeah, the silent generation. They're just head down, working. I don't see sexual assault. Hey, guys, I don't see it. Out of sight, out of mind, right? But so these boomers and Gen Xers, they are working with multiple sexual predators, and no one does a thing because they don't want to lose their job. They don't want to get blacklisted in Hollywood. And this is the problem with these things, is they support... Dan Snyder was making Nickelodeon like a shitload of money with all of his shows. He was a damn good... I guess he was a damn good director or producer or whatever the fuck he did, because he made them a shitload of money. Also, Nickelodeon's logo for a while was a foot, which is crazy. Why does your logo need to be a foot? Yeah, so let's see. Amanda Bynes portrayed a character called Penelope Taint, and all the writers, they told that the word taint was not the sexual, or not the point between anus and rectum or whatever, or penis and rectum, I don't know. But they said it was just tainted, like something is tainted or bad. And they said it was just weird. It was weird when he got into the bathtub with a 12-year-old, when a fully clothed Schneider sits in the bathtub with a young swimsuit-clad Bynes, Amanda Bynes, who now is crazy. So he was in a bathtub, or I guess a hot tub, jacuzzi, with Amanda Bynes, and everyone just kind of... You don't realize how many people... You don't know how many people... He literally had like Ariana Grande pour water on her face and on her chest and stuff. Dude, how many people get to see that and write off on that skit? Also, that's a really good sketch. A nice sketch comedy. How many people get to see that and write off on that? Because I guarantee you it's not like he just writes it, turns it in, and it happens. There's writers, producers, directors that all get to see a piece of it. All the actors get to read it. The actors' parents probably get to read the scripts. And these people are letting it slide because they're greedy and selfish. Those are the two words that best describe generation, I guess not the Zoomers, the Boomers. Greed and selfishness. They said, well, it's weird. The things happening here are weird. Yeah, it was really weird. They had people line up in the street and he would literally hit them. He would play this weird game where he would hit them with his car, and then put them in his trunk. He was just weird like that. Sometimes he would abduct people with a bag over their head and put a ball gag in their mouth and put them in his car. Guys, they were just weird. Things were just weird on set. Things were just off. I don't know. Yeah, literally, like one of the stories, they went to Brian Peck's house, and he had a poster of John Wayne Gacy in his house, surrounded by a bunch of Planet of the Apes memorabilia, and it said he had like a bunch of letters from John Wayne Gacy in prison, and it said, "To my friend Brian Peck." Like he's a pen pal with John Wayne Gacy, the clown killer, the killer clown. Like, that's not normal behavior. And none of the parents, he had a house party and showed everyone all these pen pal letters with a convicted serial killer. And none of the parents, none of the producers, no one said anything. If anything, this whole documentary goes to show how bad things are in Hollywood and how greedy and selfish people can be. At the end of the day, it's me over anyone else. That's their mindset. And it's sad. All right, let's continue. RFK getting into the news again. RFK says that atrazine, and also this part of the podcast may get my video taken down because I know talking about this type of stuff is a big no-no. So, but RFK said it, and he's running for president, and he said in a podcast that atrazine is in the water supply and it's contributing to sexual dysphoria in kids. Here's his quote. "I think a lot of the problems we see in kids, and particularly boys, is probably underappreciated how much of it is coming from chemical exposures, including a lot of the sexual dysphoria that we're seeing," said Kennedy in a podcast to Jordan Peterson. The podcast episode was taken down from YouTube, which this might be. Sexual dysmorphia is not a medical term, according to experts. Yeah, it was probably retconned. Gender dysphoria. Oh, dysphoria, sexual dysphoria. Gender dysphoria is an experience of distress that can occur when a person's gender identity does not match their sex assigned at birth. Common in transgender people. So that is, I don't know if you can even say it's a mental disorder because that is bad. So this was interesting because it comes from a article. You know, Alex Jones said, "They're putting chemicals in the water that are turning the freaking frogs gay." Serious crap. I'm serious. They're putting chemicals in the water that are turning the frogs gay. Be ready for it, folks. Gay bomb. They're gonna drop a gay bomb right on New York City. But so he was talking about this study, which was the gay bomb, baby. So I don't like them putting chemicals in the water that turn the freaking frogs gay. I'm sick of seeing socially engineered. It's not funny. So the chemical in this study that he was interested in it's called atrazine. So atrazine is a chemical that is found on it's the second most common pesticide used in commercial farming, and it has been found in our water supply and in the food that we eat. And its effects on frogs, the herbicide atrazine on frogs. Atrazine is the second most used herbicide in the United States after Monsanto's Roundup, which is glyphosate. Through tests on African clawed frogs, a frog commonly used in lab experiments, Hayes and his team found that male frogs exposed to atrazine had significantly reduced testosterone levels and variations in reproductive organs, including having both ovaries and testicles, multiple sets of each organ, and testes that produced eggs. They also found smaller lysines rendered them less able to produce croaks that attracted females. Hayes later found that male frogs exposed to atrazine produced viable eggs after copulating with unaffected male frogs. So it's not even turning them gay. It literally turned the frogs into women. They had both sets of frog testicles, or both sets of frog reproductive organs, and they could, as a male frog, I guess a hermaphrodite frog, I don't know what it is. I don't even know if you can use the term hermaphrodite anymore. I don't know what the new term is. But what is it? I think it's like multi-gendered. I don't know. Intrasex, maybe? I don't know. I don't care, really. I don't care. Intersex? I don't know. But these frogs, and this is a real study, guys, because this is information that is out there. And guys, like I said, science is the idea of a hypothesis, experimentation, and the democratic process of solving it. And not many people have tried to disprove this, which might mean that they're scared or whatnot. But this was an experiment done in a scientific lab in, I don't know, I think it's Harvard or some I think it's a Yale. I think they said Yale. Oh, the university in the 1990s by University of California, Berkeley, which is a prestigious college. And they probably don't like that was done there now. But these frogs had both pairs of reproductive organs and could produce with non-effective frogs. And guys, you can look into the conspiracy theories about the reduction size in the male taint. Like that males are getting less testosterone. And then you have to ask, well, who benefits from less testosterone in a more docile population? Who could possibly benefit from a more docile population? And I'm not gonna speculate on this, but I'll just leave it up to you, because I don't want to speculate and I don't want to jump to any conclusions. But I'm having I'm scratching my head here. This is me scratching my head. I'm scratching my head because I can't figure out who would possibly benefit from a docile population. If you guys can help me, please put it down in the comments below, because I can't figure it out. I can't figure it out who would benefit from chemical castration through generations of planned chemical eugenics. I can't even begin to figure it out. I can't wrap my head around it. I'm not smart enough for that. And I have a really hard time coming to conclusions. All right, let's continue to TikTok time.
But let me tell you, right, when my building caught fire.
Wait. Oh, I forgot to play the TikTok noise. Oh yeah, that's fun. After talking about social engineering and eugenics. Dun, 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 dun. That's fun. That's fun, guys. That's fun. This podcast is the only podcast that can go from talking about the end of all mankind, literally mankind, to TikToks. And this first TikTok I wanted to show you is a man who literally gets upset at fire trucks. So this man has beef with fire trucks. This guy, if you look him up on YouTube, his name is James Matheson, and he posts hundreds of videos every week about, or I guess he has hundreds of videos on there every week about this guy that he says is harassing him, who's a firefighter. And he's like, "You're always here blasting your sirens. Stop it."
But let me tell you, right, when my building caught fire, They said your insurance is gone. You're never allowed to have insurance again. And if there's ever another fire again, you're going to have to pay for everything yourself. And these people are coming back to the same building multiple times, pretending that they're putting out fires over and over again. When the insurance...
Pretending they're putting out fires over and over again.
Adjuster would never let them do this. So this is obviously them who's committing this crime, okay? They are the ones who are doing this. Because no insurance claim agent would let there be a fire and then let you go back inside the building and start another fire again and give you insurance, okay? This is a fucking fraud. They would kick everyone out of that goddamn building. These people are all a fucking lie, okay? When you start a fire and you're...
So he's right now in the middle of an intersection screaming and pointing and doing like the angry point where it's like almost like a fist with just a point out, pointing at the firefighters who are, I mean, firefighters, you can hate cops, you can hate police officers, that's fine, I understand that, but firefighters are literally just doing their job, and a lot of them are like volunteer. So being mad at people like firefighters seems crazy.
Building, the insurance adjuster refuses to reinstate your insurance, and these people are claiming that the insurance adjuster
he's literally pointing at
they would never do such a thing.
Firefighters.
This is a fucking lie. These people are a conspiracy. There's no way. You start one fire, you're out the fucking building. Everybody is. That's what they did to us. That's what they do to him. That's what they do to anybody. They don't let you keep coming back to...
I mean, this guy's fired up on this fire. Let's watch one more video by him.
Look, and this noise is so fucking loud, we don't even know what direction he's coming from. Because he's not supposed to use this thing beside a church, okay? We don't even know where he's coming from. Him and his terrorist sect who started the fire down the street from here. Yeah,
he's calling the fire department a terrorist sect.
Yeah, how many fires are you saying there is, yo? Yo, this man, look, he started another fire.
They started another fire. Screaming at firefighters is one of the funniest things. Okay, let's continue on with another TikTok. This one's fun.
Stunning new details tonight on Georgia's housing crisis. A GSU study says 19,000 homes, not apartments, homes in the metro are owned by 3 companies. That's nearly 1 in every 9 houses up for rent, and some entire suburban neighborhoods where corporations own it all.
So 1 in 9 is also, they circled here, this is 1 in 10, by the way, on their news thing. But so let's just say 1 in 9. That's more than 10% of homes are owned by 3 companies.
Channel 2's Michael Dowdna is live in Paulding County.
In Atlanta.
And Michael, this is important because it drives up prices for everyone.
Yeah, when you're talking about tens of thousands of homes involved here, well, it can make an impact, meaning that homes that you see like this one that would originally have been a starter home about a decade or so ago are now for lease. Signs in front yards showing not a home for sale, but for rent.
Atlanta has more of these types of properties than the next couple of metro areas combined.
These properties are single-family homes owned by corporations, not people. And Atlanta is the #1 location for these houses in the entire country.
Look, it doesn't take a genius. Like, I'm no genius, right? I'm not a genius. When it comes to stuff like this, I don't know anything about it. But I can come up with a pretty good solution for this. Step 1. If you own more than, let's be generous here. Let's just be generous. If you own more than 10 homes, you should probably be taxed more on those. Guys, it's crazy. I know it's crazy because I need 10 homes. Personally, I need all 10 homes. I need 1 tenant to pay for my vacation. I need 1 tenant to pay for my main mortgage. I need the 2nd tenant to pay for my car payment. I need my 3rd tenant to pay for my kids' college education. And I have 2 kids, so I'm going to need another tenant. So right there, I need 5 properties. I need 5 properties with 5 suckers who will pay for all my shit, right? And I need a 6th one for my hobbies. Guys, I have expensive hobbies. I like big watches. I like big women, right? Those are my 2 big hobbies. And I need 2 tenants in maybe a duplex situation that will supplement my 2 hobbies. So now I'm at 7 properties. I'm at 7 properties here, And that's still saying a lot. So let's just say if you own more than 10 properties in your name or an LLC, you should be taxed more. I don't see how that doesn't make sense. Make it make sense that they don't do that. Make it make sense, please.
According to GSU professor Taylor Shelton.
Just a decade or so ago, none of these companies even existed.
But a recent study found that just 3 companies, known to customers as Progress Residential, Invitation Homes, and Main Street...
Guys, I guarantee you, Progress Residential, Main Street Renewal, and Invitation Homes are all owned by either BlackRock or probably a combination of BlackRock, State Street, and Vanguard. One of those 3. I guarantee it.
Renewal own more than 19,000 homes in the metro area.
The homes that most of these companies are buying are exactly the kind of starter homes that 15, 20, 30 years.
Yeah, and so like the main problem with this is if you ever want to escape poverty, you have to own assets, because assets are some of the only things that go up in value, right? Your job, you know, working now, you won't gain value quick enough to keep up with the price of assets. So if you own assets, you are actually getting paid more than getting just a raise, right? So yeah, owning assets is one of the only ways to escape your social economic class. And now owning assets is getting harder and harder because the socioeconomic class it's becoming more filled with rich people because they've already claimed, guys, rich boomers have already claimed a lot of the assets available. So getting assets, so those assets have gone up in value, making it harder to attain new assets because 1, people aren't building new assets, and 2, getting those assets are so damn expensive. Buying a car, expensive as hell. Gosh, this cat. What are you doing? Yeah, and like 20, like, what is it, like 8% interest rates? They're going to have to start doing 80-year mortgages. I mean, I guarantee I'm buying a home, it's just going to be renting with more steps in the future. Here's this guy who interviews people, and this guy interviews old people in Hobby Lobbies.
How much did you pay for your first house?
$12,000.
$12,000.
I'm not kidding.
Wow, what year was this?
1969. And guys, 1969 isn't even that long ago. You could buy a house for $12,000.
69.
It should make you mad. It should literally make you angry that everyone born after 1970, let's say after 1990, everyone born after 1990 has inherited the worst of all possible realms, right? Everything's expensive as shit. Everything bought has already been bought. Everything thought has almost already been thought. You have to... The access to communication makes competitiveness... I mean, you had the competition for even being an employee is a billion times harder because they could hire some Indian guy who works for $4, or they could hire you to work for 12, right? Now, who's going to do work? Who's going to do more work? Probably not you, right? Because you're not going to do twice as much work for that guy. This is just the way the world is. It really does suck. It sucks a lot. It sucks a lot of shit. But you know who else sucks a lot of shit? This girl. This girl in her goddamn...
My husband woke up crazy.
This girl in her goddamn TikTok. My boyfriend woke up craving chocolate. My husband woke up craving chocolate.
My husband woke up craving chocolate brownies the other day, so I started by cutting open some cacao pods and taking out the beans.
Which isn't the craziest part. Listen to this.
The other day, so I started by cutting open some cacao pods and taking out the beans. Then I wrapped them up to ferment for 8 days, during which I mixed them each day.
I mixed them. I bagged them up to ferment for 8 days. So when you get a craving, you have to wait 8 days to fulfill that craving.
And put them in a cooler with warm water each night to help keep the fermentation going. After 8 days, they were perfectly fermented, so I laid them out in the sun until they were all dry, which took about 12 days. Next, I roasted them.
So we're at 20 days. We were at 20 days wait for chocolate.
In the oven and then removed the shells. This part is so satisfying. And then I poured the beans into my wet grinder along with some raw sugar and let them grind for about 48 hours. At one point, I held a blow dryer
48 hours, which is what, 2 days? So now we're at 22 days.
On there to help release the cocoa butter from the beans. And eventually we had beautiful liquid chocolate. It was still very
that does look really good.
thick for a variety of reasons, which made it pretty hard to temper. So some of the bars were bloomed, which looks like this. But it didn't matter because I was melting them for brownies. So the next day, I chopped up some of my fresh...
So now we're at the next day. We're at day 23. After her husband asked for... After her husband asked for chocolate brownies, we are in day 23 after that.
Melted it with brown butter in the microwave until it was all nice and melty. Then I cracked 3 eggs into a bowl, added some sugar, and whisked until it was nice and fluffy. From there,
There's no way she does this for every single thing. My husband was craving eggs, so I went out back and I waited for my chickens to hatch.
Added in flour and a little bit of cocoa powder, and then I folded in my melted chocolate and butter. Lastly,
this looks bomb though. This does look bomb as
fresh
fuck.
chocolate, and then I poured this into a pan and baked for about...
Not worth waiting 23 days for, unfortunately. Gosh, I just love that though. My husband was craving brownies, so I spent 23 days making them. Oh, this is a personal, guys. This is a personal TikTok here. I took this video while on my Zoom call with, it's not really my Zoom call. I just have to it's like a weekly sales training Zoom call. But listen to the way that this girl talks and tell me you don't want to blow your brains out.
All right. These conversations you're going to have. It's going to guide your thoughts, actions, decisions. It also influences your attitude.
So she talks, so she brings up the energy and then she brings it down. It's going to guide your thoughts, your actions, and your attitude, but it's also going to determine your direction.
It also influences your attitude.
She also says it also includes, which is makes you sound retarded.
Beliefs, perceptions. So when I say your mindset is your compass, it's going to help you stay focused on destination. Despite...
And this is how slow she talks the entire time. Let me speed this up by 2. Can I speed this up by 2?
The distractions, obstacles, and it helps you focus on the goal to handle these challenges. Stay on course. So in essence, your mindset is your compass.
So in essence, your mindset is your compass. So guys, she spent a minute. Guys, that was sped up by 2% or 2 times by 100% sped up. That was 2 times sped up. She said 1 sentence. This is what I'm talking about when I'm talking about corporate speak. These people spend a paragraph's length of words to describe one thing. So in essence, your mindset is your compass. Direction and time and attention, but it also determines your direction. Oh, some new Kate Middleton information. We had this video posted by
I want to take the
NBC News. Right? NBC News. My comment on this also is the most one of the most viral comments on this video. If you guys go check it out on TikTok. Princess Kate announces she is undergoing treatment for cancer.
This opportunity to say thank you personally for all the wonderful messages of support and for your understanding.
So, also, some people are saying this looks AI generated or deep faked in some way. I don't see it, but I mean, she literally photoshopped her kid's photo from before, so you never really know. My comment was I was deeply suspicious not understanding, because she said, thank you for your understanding and support. I'm like, no one seemed understanding. Everyone seemed deeply suspicious.
Whilst I've been recovering from surgery. It has been an incredibly tough couple of months for our entire family, but I've had a fantastic medical team who've taken great care of me.
I'm not going to watch this whole video because it's boring. Hey, have some jokes, Kate. Hey, get some jokes, Kate. You're boring. Bad content. She needs to have Mr. Beast do a quick punch up on that. Oh, here's a video of the very first Neuralink.
Is Bliss, and I'm an engineer at Neuralink. And I'd like to introduce you to the first ever user of the Neuralink device.
Yeah, my name's Nolan Arbaugh. I'm 29 years old. About 8 years ago, I was in kind of a freak diving accident and dislocated my C4, C5.
So, yeah, this guy's a quadriplegic, which is sad, but he's the first user of Neuralink, and he's able to control a cursor and play chess with his head, with his brain.
Enabled me to do something that I wasn't able to really do much the last few years, especially not like this. I had to use like a mouse.
So it's, yeah, I mean, this is some crazy technology that will be coming to a brain near you, coming to a brain in you pretty soon. And you'll be able to crank up different settings and go full dopamine setting. You'll have to get the 2.0 dopamine update so you can fully stay rock hard 24/7. It'll notice when you're crashing, and it'll give you a caffeine boost.
Go look at your paycheck.
Here we go. Let's end this on our good friend Andy Elliott.
It's not at least $100,000 a month. You got work to do. A lot of you guys jack off all day. Seriously, I mean, like, you guys just bullshit all the time. Greatness comes from doing mundane shit that average people can't keep doing. It's not all fucking sexy and fired up. It's staying consistent, doing the shit you need to do over and over and over and over. Everybody told me what's fucking possible. Fuck everybody. I called my own shots.
Also, the camera guy who doesn't make $100,000 a month. Listen to this.
It's not at least $100,000 a month. Go look at your paycheck. It's not at least $100,000 a month. You got work to do.
The cameraman behind him looked at him. He's like, "Oh shit."
You got work to do. A lot of you destroyed it.
Yeah, I like that. Andy Elliott, our favorite ripped pseudo guru, who always wears tight shirts and short shorts. That being said, thank you, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you for watching, and thank you for the support. If you guys aren't already following on TikTok, go follow there. Also, follow on Instagram. You can email me clips you want me to watch or news you want me to talk about. Email me at theafromattshow at theafromattshow with 3 T's at gmail.com. And oh yeah, and you can please, if you're listening to this podcast on Spotify, Apple, whatever, Amazon Music, drop a review, hopefully 5 stars, and share with a friend. But that being said, thank you and goodbye. Bye.